We're still below as a people what white people were making in 1972. All of us who profess to be Christians, we have a responsibility to make sure that we are taken care of and that all people are treated equally. Man, listen, if I can't impress you with my intellect, with my walk with Christ, and with my goals and my vision for my future family, but if you want me to drop a bag on you, and I don't even know if you're my wife, you ain't the one. Black men, we gotta do better by our black sisters who will partner with you and say, yo, we're gonna build this for us, but for our kids as well. He said it.
LeBron James.
Like, I'm LeBron James, don't get it twisted. And he's right. He said, but my father wasn't LeBron James. The next sentence he said, I stood up in my chair. I said, brother, you better say that. You guys know it's Black History Month. And oftentimes what I used to do in the past, I used to have a Black History panel. And this year I'm not doing that. But today's show is going to be very heavy. It's going to be very direct, but a much needed conversation. And I want you all to take this video. I want you to share it with all of your minority, people of color, Black, however you want to identify yourself as a minority people. Share it with those people because when we talk about literally leveling up our finances and building wealth and building a legacy, it's not just about us. It's about our families. It is about the communities that we're in. It is about literally the legacy that is not even on the planet today. Today's show, I'm not going to get all like super excited like I normally do because I really am passionate about this message. As you all know, I am back at an HBCU learning more about finances from the Black perspective and from the Black experience. Not only am I in an HBCU getting the Black experience as far as in the education, I am also an academia professor teaching consumer economics, AKA financial management, to freshmen, sophomores, and juniors from a Black lens, from a Black perspective. But I want to start off today's show with some real good news because I think we're going to get into some things that are not so good. But I want to start off by saying, y'all, we are winning as a people. Black people are winning today. We're experiencing the most positive economic conditions in generations. I'm talking about record low unemployment, record high income levels. Come on, sisters, okay? And new heights of wealth. So many of us are business owners or first generational millionaires in our families. And I want to salute and shout out our Black sisters who are the #1 rising entrepreneur in America. So listen, as a community in this generation, we're breaking records left and right. But with all that being said, if you dig a little bit deeper, you'll find a more complicated truth. You see, according to the Road to Zero Wealth Report by Prosperity Now and the Institute of Policy Studies, the median wealth of Black Americans is projected to fail. Let me say it differently. Expected to fall to zero within the next 25 years, AKA by 2053. I was going through this study with my students and I said, how does this make you feel? That white people's income are going up. And I love white people. Don't take this as I am attacking my brothers and sisters of a different race. No, but I'm stating the facts and having a conversation that needs to be had. But as I had this conversation with my students, I said, how does it make you feel? And they said, I'm upset. I'm pissed. I'm bothered. I'm like, well, you shouldn't be upset. You shouldn't be pissed. You should be focused to learn how to make sure you're not a part of this stack. And as we celebrate Black History this month, it's a perfect time to shed light on the state of the Black economy, on the state of where we are as a people and how we can take action to narrow the wealth gap. And when I say narrow, a lot of people say, no, we need to close it. Here's the truth of the fact. I don't believe we can ever close the wealth gap because then what we're asking is, we're asking my white brothers and sisters, who I have white brothers and sisters who I love dearly and who I know do not have a racist bone in them. I don't believe all white people are racist. I believe that there is a good amount of racism out there from white people that supersedes all the loving white people. So this is not an attack on white people, right? But I can't say I want to close the wealth gap, because the only way we can close it, I got to ask the white people, my white brothers and sisters, to stop winning, to stop using their gifts and talents that God has given them to generate wealth. No, what we can do is narrow it by continuing to do the right things, by continuing to make the right decisions. Together, we can rewrite the narrative so that our wealth isn't zero by 2053, but instead it reaches new heights by doing the right things. I've been saying this since I was literally 25 years, no, I'll say about 30, that the caliber of our financial future will be determined by the quality and the sensitive choices we make today. And we're going to talk about some of those choices that we have to make today that's going to get us to our tomorrow.
All right, family, before we get into the rest of today's show, listen, nearly 75% of you all are not subscribed to the channel. Listen to me again. 75% of you all are not a part of the E3 community. And we are literally just expanding in the areas of abundance, wellness, and freedom. And that is the main focus of this year. So listen, if you're loving some of the content, you may not watch me every single week, but if you could just hit that subscribe button and be a part of this family, there are some extra perks that comes from just subscribing. We're giving out discounts in the AO store. We're having events solely just for the community, and you will get an email with the discount code and the VIP code and all the special things that's going on. So please hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on podcast, and I promise you it's going to be amazing. When we hit 1 million on YouTube, I'm giving away a luxury quality used vehicle to one of my E3 community members on July 1st of 2025. So listen, hit that subscribe button and let's get back to today's show. God bless.
So I want to start off today's show by really breaking down the reality of our community within the Black community. Like I said, we're winning. We are winning in ways we've never won before. But numbers, but facts, but statistics do not lie. While some stats look good on the surface, there's more to the story. You see, Black wealth, it's in trouble. Why? Because while income is growing, it's not keeping up. A recent study from the Center for Economic and Policy Research found that the Black median income is nearly $30,000 less than the white median income. And get this, it's still below the white median income, check this out, from 1972. I want that to sink in for a little bit. We're talking about 50 plus years ago, and we're not even there yet. We're still below, as a people, what white people were making in 1972. Now, this is going to be a sensitive conversation. And to my brothers and sisters of the white race, this is not an attack, but this is a great time for you to learn where your brothers and sisters are of the Black and minority culture, where we are as a community, and how if you have the opportunity to hire a Black man, to hire a Black woman, this is why you should hire that particular individual. Because here's the truth. It's like trying to fill up a bucket with water when there's a hole in the bottom. Sure, we're pouring in more water. Sure, we're dumping in water. Sure, we have the hose going. But if we don't fix the structural damage, the structural issues, the issues that the damage and the issues that our white brothers and sisters, mothers, grandmothers, grandfathers, fathers caused, the bucket will never be full. So while it's important to celebrate our wins within the Black community, we need to talk about the gaps and how we close them. How do we make sure that our children's children do not have to go through these gaps, that they do not have to experience these things? And I gotta call it out. I'm sorry. This is not only a Black issue. This is a people's issue. This is a Christianity issue. If I see my brother's house burning on my street, I have an issue. Because if I don't help him get that house under control, it's going to hit the next house. And when it hit that house, it's going to hit the next house. Then eventually it's going to hit my house. So it's not just, oh, let me just, no. It is all of us within the world, all of us as a group of people, all of us who profess to be Christians. We have a responsibility to make sure that we are taken care of and that all people are treated equally. Because I want you to understand the wealth gap between African Americans and my brothers of the different race. You see, wealth isn't just about how much money you make. It's also about what we own. It is about assets. It is about margin. I was asking my students at Virginia Union University, and y'all, I'm really excited about this season that God has me in, because before I shot today, I was up doing schoolwork. And I was doing policy and management because I'm actually in school as well at Virginia University to get my executive MBA. And we're learning about policy and management from, a minority perspective, man. And I'm learning so much. And on the flip side, I teach my class as a professor on Monday and Wednesdays. And I say, young people, answer this question for me. How do we build wealth? How do we become owners? How do we accumulate assets? It was like, we got to make more money. I said, no, that's not it. It's not it. That's not it. We cannot, watch this, we can't talk about wealth, we can't talk about home ownership, we can't talk about investing in the stock market and passing out assets to the next generation if we're not talking about how do we build more margin. You see, wealth and home ownership and freedom comes from the margin that we have within our community. If we're making $5,000, but then we're spending $5,500, we have no margin to have ownership. We have no margin to narrow the wealth gap because we're not investing. Now, here's the truth. I get it. There are historical challenges that has kept us out of wealth. It's the historical challenges has blocked us from getting into the wealth building game. Redlining, which I didn't have to experience this, but my grandmother did. Redlining made it nearly impossible for my grandmothers and my other Black families to buy homes in good neighborhoods for decades. And to be honest, we still have a little bit of that going right now in 2025. Predatory lending hit our communities harder during the housing crisis. And let's not even get into the myths we've been fed about the stock market not being for us. So everyone is asking me, well, Anthony, how do we do this? And my young people are asking me, well, when I'm going through this report with them, what can we do? And the thing is, we gotta get into the point to where we can step back and figure out how do we build margin, and then how do we use that margin in an effective way, in a strategic way to build wealth. 2025, I have a new mindset, man, and I've always been good with money, but now I'm like, man, listen, I'm like, yo, listen, I gotta make moves now that is gonna buy me more assets. Reposition some things within my company to bring down my expenses. Why? Because I want to start positioning myself to buy more assets. I told myself I'm not buying any more cars because I want to buy more assets. I told myself the more money that I'm going to be making within a company, I want to be even more strategic in making sure that my company is now buying assets that's going to generate money for the company. Because here's the good news, my brothers and sisters. We can change this. We've been through worse, and we've come out stronger. The wealth gap doesn't have to be our destiny, and it doesn't have to be our children's future. It's simply just a challenge, and challenges can be overcome if we put the work in. We can overcome these challenges if we're willing to be disciplined, if we're willing to do the right thing and position our families to win. And you know, one of the key ways, watch this, one of the key ways to change and to narrow the wealth gap is having the proper insurance. Check this quick commercial out.
Here is the truth. I am always looking for practical ways to help you build, right, wealth, specifically generational wealth and legacy. And one of the best ways you can do that is with life insurance. That's why I partner with my friends at Ethos. They make buying life insurance simple and hassle-free. Whether you're the main provider for your family or want to make sure your loved ones aren't left with financial burdens like debt, life insurance is a powerful way to provide financial security. As a business owner and a homeowner, I took this seriously and secured a $2 million life insurance policy through Ethos. Why? Because having a peace of mind, knowing my family will be cared for when I'm no longer here, is extremely priceless. What I love about Ethos is their quick and straightforward process. You can apply entirely online in as little as 10 minutes. I'm not even exaggerating. I did it myself. Listen, no medical exams, just a few health questions that you must answer honestly. Plus, it's affordable, making it easier to protect your family without breaking the bank. Listen, I want you to lock in your rate today by visiting anthonyoneal.com/life insurance or click the link below to get your personalized free quote today. Listen, as we're getting back to the show, I want you to protect your loved ones. Don't play around with it. Be like me. I promise you. It's a hard conversation to have, but you will sleep peacefully knowing that you took care of your family. Go to anthonyoneal.com/life insurance. Let's get back to the show to help you keep building this wealth.
So how can we literally change the game? I've identified, here's the problem, here are some of the statistics, and I don't want to just go all negative. But I do want to talk about how can we change the game as a family, as a community, as Christians. And I want to give you practical steps you can take to start building wealth and start narrowing that gap for your family. And here's one of the very first things that I really want to start off with, that it literally just came to my mind. While yes, we should be worried about everyone else, I need you to worry about your home. That's the very first thing. I need you to worry about your home, about your family. Brothers, and I'm talking to you right now. Got that on it, brothers, black brothers, we got to step up in this game. I need us to stop worrying about what society is saying. I need us to stop worrying about what culture and what community is saying and start saying, you know what? I'm going to look at my wife. I'm going to look at my children. If you're single like myself, I'm going to look at me, but I'm also thinking about my future family. I'm going to make sure that I put together a strategy, that I put together a plan, a system that is going to make sure that my family is taken care of. I'm not going to buy the latest and greatest things so I can impress all of them at the cost of my black family struggling. Because black people, we know how to struggle and look good. We don't know how to thrive. But we know how to survive and make surviving look good. But as a community, we really haven't narrowed down how do we really start thriving and passing down thriving to our children's children. But it starts with us, black men. This is why on February 1st of this month, I had 100 black men gather together and come in and learn, how do we get to the bag? How do we start saving and how do we start investing? How do we start saying, you know what, while I may be single and I want to date and impress, man, listen, if I can't impress you with my intellect, with my walk with Christ and with my goals and my vision for my future family, but if you want me to drop a bag on you and I don't even know if you're my wife, you ain't the one, but we got it in. Because it starts with us, man. I'm not knocking ladies and the strength of a woman, the essence of a woman. But what I am saying is that the black man, we got to step up and start leading more. We got to step up and start saying, you know what? I got to change. I had to tell myself that last year going into this year, bro, I got to change how I'm thinking about things. I got to change how I'm looking at things. I got to change how I'm dating, how I'm pursuing a woman, how I'm looking at my finances. I got to grow. I got to always evolve. And the only way we can really narrow the wealth gap, it starts with, I believe, the man of the home. And we got to say, you know what? I'm going to do what's best for my house, for my family, for my future. And here's the next thing, my brothers and my sisters. Oh, I can tell I've been going to an HBCU. I have never said my brothers and my sisters this much. But ownership. When you're thinking about your home, and I teach this to my team and the people who work with me. Like, listen, man, the Neatness Network will do the very best it can by you. I'm going to pay you the very best that I can. But this is my baby. And I want you to build something that you own for your family that no man can touch outside of God. Because when you have a level of ownership, you have a level of freedom. Ownership equals freedom. I'm not saying you need to go out there and quit your job. Don't do that, because everybody can't be entrepreneurs. We will not have a society. But when you get off of your 9 to 5, your 8 to 5, your job, what are you doing when you get home that you and your spouse, you and your loved one, or you for yourself can honestly own? And ownership could be a business, a side business. Ownership is, I got a level of real estate. I have a level of rental properties. You see, ownership is one of the best ways to build wealth. If you don't own a home yet, make it a goal in 2025, 2026. I actually am partnering with the company. If we haven't already talked about it, I don't know where we are. We're talking about it. That's related to Michelle, our producer. But we've recently just partnered with the company that is helping you get into homes. It's called resumable mortgages, where you can get into homes that people bought maybe 30 years ago, but they haven't paid off the home, but you can get their interest rate at 2%, 3%. There are creative ways that you can get into a home in 2025 and you're not paying 7% interest rate. And I'm honestly going to do a whole show on this. If I haven't done it yet, look for it. But if I have done it, Michelle, please drop it in today's show notes. But I'm just being obedient because really Michelle's the boss here. But man, there's so many different things that I'm going to be teaching this year. And as a matter of fact, our men learned about it when they came with me, and we're going to be doing another event for men and men only, right? When it comes to the bag. Because home ownership, real estate, is one of the best ways you can build your net worth. Can you imagine going home to be with the Lord? You leave them an insurance policy, you leave them a check, but then you also leave them land, you also leave them real estate. I need you to start setting aside, money for a down payment right now. I need you to open up a SoFi savings account, high yield savings account, and start putting money aside. I need you to get with Kickoff so we can start getting your credit score up, right? Without no debt. So that way your credit score is good, because we're going to be positioning yourself to be a home owner. Ownership when it comes to businesses is important. 11.3% of all businesses in the United States of America are owned by African Americans, Black-owned business owners. Now, one of the most recent studies revealed that we're about 13% of the population. So we're almost there. We're almost at the equivalent of our population percentage, but we still can do so much more. But white people own about 85% of the businesses in America. We can't get to equal of white people. We can't, because there's more of them than it is of us. But y'all, I do want to encourage you in this, and I want to say this, and I talk about this inside of my latest book, Take Your Seat at the Table. And if you haven't gotten that book, man, please get that book. Ed, let's put up a lower third right here so they can see the book. Go to anthonyneal.com/book. And get the book, Take Your Seat at the Table. Because there's a lot of us who are not business owners because we're fearful of the responsibilities that come with business ownership. It's one section of people. Then we have another section of people who see what business owners have in the limelight, but don't want the stress, can't handle the stress and the responsibilities of it, and you left a job and you're struggling financially. Ownership doesn't mean you do not have a job, but ownership does mean that some of us should not have a job. I was not wired to work for someone. I was the best employee I could possibly be, but I'm a better man today because I'm able to move at the speed and in the direction God has for me. But everybody needs a Scottie Pippen, and there's always going to be a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan, and Steph Curry. But everyone needs a Kyrie. Everyone needs a Scottie. Everyone needs a good, strong two-man. But even Scottie, watch this, even Kyrie owns businesses outside of being the two-man on the court. When they go home, they have businesses. They have a level of ownership that they own. That they own. So, number one, Black men, we got to step up and start focusing on the betterment of our families. And this is going to be completely off subject when it comes to wealth building, but it aligns with it. And I just feel the conviction. My God, I just feel the conviction. Black men, we got to do better by our Black sisters. I'm going to say that. I said we because I have to include myself into that. You want to build wealth quicker? Be loyal and be committed to that one woman. If she's your wife, be committed to her. Because there's nothing like having a strong Black woman by your side who covers you, who loves you, who embraces your vulnerability, who will partner with you and say, yo, we're going to build this for us, but for our kids as well, and for our family. We're going to be a representation to the Black community that Black love is the thing. That Black love, we can build something, and we ain't got to be into the drama of cheating and hoeing around and sleeping around. No. Brothers, we got to do better by our Black sisters. Because if we're going to narrow the gap, we can't build a business and out here building other families outside of our main family. We gotta do better. Because every Black strong couple who I know who's built something, man, my man got a strong wife by his side. And I'm not knocking, multiracial, interracial couples. I'm not knocking that. That ain't my thing, right? I want me a Black sister. But at the same time, I think there's just nothing like being faithful to whom you've made a vow to. So brothers, we got to do better at our homes, because when the home is strong, we can build so much better. We can build that business. We can get into the actual home that we own and we'll be solid. Here's the very next thing. Number 3, we got to invest in the stock market. Okay. I know many of us grew up thinking the stock market was risky or not really for people of color. But the truth is, it's one of the most solid and one of the most secure ways to grow your money and build wealth. I need you to start small. I want you to look into the app like Moo. You can take $100 right now and invest into a good index fund for just $100. All right. Now, I did a little bit of studies and I found this, and this bothered me a little bit, right? That 40% of Black households are investing into the stock market. Great. Love it. But 60% of us are not. So the majority of Black people are not investing into the stock market. A stock market can simply be you're not investing into your 401k. You're not investing into a Roth IRA. You're not investing into a 529. We're not taking advantage of compound interest. We're lacking on that because we would rather go buy, well, no. Let me say this, because I don't think this is the case for all people of color. Once we pay our necessities, the little bit over that we have left over, which is what I call margin, We're taking that margin and we're blowing it on liabilities, but we're not investing it into assets that produces income that provides and pays for some of our liabilities. But we'll take our margin, go spend it on liabilities rather than putting it into the stock market. Listen, man, in 2023, if you invested, man, you had a 23% return. In 2024, when I put my money inside my savings account, it's not a whole lot of money, but I had 5% throughout the whole year. Man, I made an extra $8,000 almost on my money just sitting in the account doing nothing in a high yield savings account. Man, 2024, man, I had a good return on my money investing it into the stock market. This is why I'm suggesting that you open up an account with Mumu, put money inside of that and start investing into an index fund. And right now I'm looking at investing and partnering with the company that will really be your financial advisor for as low as like $100 a month. Like really, really, really affordable to where they'll give you the plan and also invest for you for super, super, super cheap. I've been on a hunt because I want to make sure that I am positioning my brothers and sisters to invest and see your money grow. Because I'm telling you this right now, if I'm blessed to have kids, man, I can't wait to see their faces and tell me and their mom, thank you for the check. And watch this inside of our heads. Well, you got 100,000, but we only put in 13,000. Thank you, compound. Thank you, compound interest. Remember, it's about margin. Wealthy people are not making money. How do we narrow it down? Is by thinking like the wealthy. How do I take my money and use it and effectively invest it to make me more money? That's where Mumu comes into place. Okay. Here's another level of ownership. I think we're on what, number 4, right? Number 4, we got to buy our time back. If we're going to narrow the wealth gap, we got to buy back our time. What do I mean by buy back our time? Again, I'm just on a whole different tip this year, and I'm understanding things clearer. I'm seeing things better. I'm maturing, I'm evolving. And one of the key ways you can build wealth is not just from a financial perspective. How do we narrow that wealth gap is not just from the practical things of money. No, but it's also about buying back our time so that we can use our time more effectively to educate our young ones, to spend more time with our wives, to spend more time with our husbands, to spend more time with our children. You see, when we can buy back our time and we're not working like Hebrew slaves Monday through Monday, I said it, because some of us right now are getting up on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and are working like Hebrew slaves, and we don't have time to spend time with our loved ones, to connect with our spouses, to get on the same page, to dream together, to cast a vision together, to come up with a strategy together. And one of the things that I'm studying from wealthy families is that, man, they spend so much time, and I can say so much time, they spend a lot of time together as a spouse, as a couple, dreaming and casting vision. One couple told me, man, on Fridays, it is date day for him and his wife. Date day. Oh, this is so good. Date day. He said on date day, we always start off with breakfast of what are you saying? What's the, like, where are we going in life? How do you like where we are? Then they go to lunch and they have fun. Then nighttime is more of a romance and romantic thing, because if we're going to narrow that wealth gap, if we're going to truly build wealth within the Black community, you got to be connected with your partner. You got to be connected with your spouse. Then watch this. Saturdays, no work. It's not date day. It's family day. Then they said once a quarter on family day, they update their kids on where they are financially. How's the business doing? Your mom is back in school. Hey, the job is doing good over here. Hey, we put money inside of your 529 account and we're not going to be doing this. Like they update their family. Why? Because they understand the importance of time when it comes to building wealth. They don't want to blow time that they have with their children at a young age. They don't want to be so dedicated and so focused on working and making more money that they've made all this money, but they haven't spent time together. And so what average people do, we exchange our time for money. What wealthy people do is they exchange wealth, they exchange money for time. Because they understand if me and my wife, me and my husband, me and my kids, if we all get on the same page, I can honestly make more money. If I could sit at home and just have some time just to read my word, just to study, just to give God enough time to speak to me, I'll get more creative ideas within that time. If I just have enough time to sit still, if I just have enough time to be silent, I can hear God clearer. And I can get clearer direction on what I need to do for my family and for my community. But if I'm always busy, if I'm always going to on this job and then leaving that job, going to the next job, leaving that job, coming home to the kids and helping them with homework, and then I'm dealing with my spouse, and then we're doing this and we're doing that, but I never have enough time to sit and to just meditate, I'll never get to the full potential of who I am because I'm so busy. So time. We got to buy back some of our time. And that's something that I'm doing in 2025. Is that I was talking to my pastor and I said, man, 2025 is a year of reshifting, of shifting, of positioning myself for 2026. I don't know what God has for me and for you in the year 2026, but here's what I do know. He got something. And I felt a huge burden on my life. I felt a huge conviction last year that you have to steward 2025 better. Not that I've stewarded bad. He said, but what's coming next, I need you to steward this year better. So Anthony, I need you to use some of your time to get education. Anthony, I need you to use some of your time to just sit still. Anthony, you're going to have to cut back on speaking engagements in 2025 because you're going to be in school. You're going to be teaching, but I also need time to where you can just sit and hear, because what's coming in 2026, if you don't get it and prepare for it in 2025, you're not going to effectively use 2026 that I believe is going to change the trajectory of my family, of my business, and of myself. So this year, if you want to build wealth and you want to narrow that, you got to buy back your time. I hope this is making sense to y'all. Let me give you this last thing. I talk about this all the time. And I'm going to give you two more things, honestly, right? You have to get a handle on your debt. I need you to get rid of your consumer debt. You all know I'm passionate about this, right? Too many of us are drowning in debt because we don't have a handle on our finances. I need you to get a handle on it. Inside of the show notes today, there is my free ebook on how to pay off your debt. I need you to go read that. I need you to read that and read that again. And I need you to get a handle on your god daggone debt. Because I'm tired of Black families passing down bondage, passing down frustration, passing down misery, passing down bondage again. I'm going to say it one more time because I want you to hear me. The Bible says we're a slave to the lender. Why do you want to pass down slavery to your kids? You see, when you can get rid of that debt, you free up income. When you free up income, you've created margin. When you have margin, you can invest better. When you have margin, you can buy more assets. When you have margin, you can do more things that create memories. But when you're drowning in debt, you can't buy back your time. I was watching LeBron James on Travis Kelce's show. He had LeBron James on there. He said something that I think a lot of people skipped over it. He was talking about his son and how his son is going through all this, the scrutiny and the headaches and the comparison. And he said it. He was like, yo, the difference between my son and me is that, yeah, I came out of school and I came into the NBA and they was challenging me and checking for me. He said, but I became who I became. I'm the best. He said it. Like, I'm LeBron James. Don't get it twisted. And he's right. He said, but my father wasn't LeBron James. He said, and my son is compared to his father, one of the greatest to play the game. I'm going to be real. He said, but don't get it twisted. Ooh. Listen here, boy. The next sentence he said, I stood up in my chair. I said, brother, you better say that. He said, but don't get it twisted. I worked this hard so that my son and my daughter don't have to work. I am in a position to where I can tell my son, you can run a business. You want to run my business? You can run it. My daughter, you can run my business. We good. You know why? Watch this. This is the last thing, and we're going to end this show. LeBron James fostered a legacy mindset in the very beginning of his career. He said, while I am working my butt off, while I have a job, woo, oh, this is good. This is good right here, y'all. While I have a job, I'm going to build something on the side because I want to create a legacy. LeBron James is an employee, is a W-2 employee for the NBA, the National Basketball Association. But he is using this job, working it well, showing up, using his gifts, using his talents to do great over here. But then when he goes home, he's built $1 million business because he knew I can't pass down my basketball skills to my kids, to my daughters. They may inherit it from the natural genes, but if they don't have that gift, I can't pass down, hey, you can go play for the Lakers. No, but I can build something on the side. When I go home, I'm going to get with my wife. I'm going to be faithful to my wife. I'm going to be kingdom man. I'm going to be the man of my home, but I'm partnering with my wife. Baby, how do we build this as a family? Because generational wealth requires a shift toward long-term thinking. Yeah, but we've seen systemic racism and systemic inequities often force many of us to focus on short-term survival, right? But to address this, it's crucial to teach the importance and have the importance of an estate plan. You know, inside the estate plan is wills, trusts, life insurance, securing your assets to be preserved so that you can pass them down. We within our community, when it comes to long-term thinking, when it comes to generational wealth and closing that gap and narrowing that gap, is we got to normalize open conversations about money within our Black families. And this will help break the cycle of secrecy surrounding finances, fostering better financial habits and understanding. But additionally, too, man, we got to be willing to share success stories that highlight the power of consistent saving, consistent investing, consistent living below our means. We got to be so bold to tell our kids and tell our loved ones, like, yo, man, I don't need to do that. I'm not going to do that, man. I mean, my wife and I, we want to put up $5,000 this month, man. You know what? We want to start doing this. We got to shift the thinking. One of the key ways that I shifted my thinking when it comes to my family, and I'm even doing this like with my nephews and my niece, I have not given them one gift. I have only given them a piece of paper. And honestly, now I'm not even giving them a piece of paper because I just do it on my own. But I don't give gifts. I'm shifting the perspective of this. And this is how we this is how we narrow the wealth gap. I give them a receipt. I actually only gave it to them one time. I want to lie. Well, Lord Jesus, I don't want to lie. I've only given them a receipt. That's it. And on that receipt is a deposit number of what I put inside their 529. Me and one of my friends, we were talking, and she was, we're getting to know each other. Be honest with you, we're getting to know each other. Not really dating, but we're getting to know each other. I want to be honest. And she said something, and she's like, yeah, I'm about to go buy Jordan. She said, how do you feel about buying Jordans for your 1-year-old son? I said, I think that is the worst investment a parent can ever make. But again, I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to judge you or attack you for any of that. You just asked my opinion. She said, really? Why? I said, because I'm going to spend $100 on a pair of shoes that my young kid doesn't respect, just so I can say that he looks good and snap pictures of it, post it on Instagram, post it on Facebook, post it on TikTok, and maybe my son go viral and say, oh, he's cute. But they will be dirty in the next week. When I can take that same $100 and put it inside of a mutual fund, that same $100 put it inside of hire him to be a model, right? Or hire her to be a model, right? But why in the world would I want to put that much on my body, on my kid's body? See, the Bible in Proverbs 13, verse 22, it doesn't say that a good parent dresses his kids well. The Bible in Proverbs 13:22 does not say that a good parent helps his kids go viral. Oh my gosh. No. You see, in Proverbs 13, verse 22, it says, a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. But a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. So a good parent leaves an inheritance to his children's children. I am okay with my son or my daughter saying, Dad, I don't have any Jordans. Yeah, because you don't need them and you don't know how to take care of them. But let me tell you why they got Jordans, you got this. And they may not even understand what I mean. I'm not saying we can't buy our kids and our children anything nice, because I will. But I pray that I marry a woman that understands that if we are blessed to have kids, that she understands, yo, listen, I don't want to spend money that way. I want to make sure that we position our kids to be wealthy. I want to make sure that we are positioning our kids to be further than us at the age of 30, at the age of 40, at the age of 50. That when they turn 50, they are 2 times wealthier than where we are because of how we set them up. I want to give my kids $250,000 when they graduate college. I want to give my kids $100,000 to go off to college and wherever they want to go. I want to give my kids $250,000 when they graduate college to go towards a house. I want to make sure that they are in a solid position. And I was thinking about it when they were 0. I was thinking about it before they were even formed. Yes. They may grow up saying, I'm missing out on things. But when you become an adult, they're going to say, I really wasn't missing out on anything. Madam C.J. Walker said it best. She said, don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them. When I think about this quote by Madam C.J. Walker, man, I'm inspired because what I heard her say that, but I also heard her say, you know what? Don't sit down and hope that your children's children will be good. Get up and make sure that they are good. Don't sit here and wait that your wife is debt-free. Oh, no. Get up and work your behind off while you're single and make sure that when y'all get married, you can make her debt-free. I need to get up out of here. Fam, listen, we've come so far, but there's more work to do. And I believe we got the power to do it. Remember this, your financial success isn't just about you. It's about the people who come after you. It's about changing the narrative for your kids, for your grandkids, your community, and the church. Don't let the stats that we went over today discourage you. But instead, I told my HBCU class, don't get upset. Don't get mad. Get motivated. Get motivated to where when you graduate college, you're in a position to where you can go be a homeowner because of the education you got at Virginia Union University. Get motivated to where you start investing into stocks, and instead of going to get, the latest pair of shoes or maybe the fanciest hairdo, I don't know, get motivated to where you can start investing $50 into the stock while you're in school. Get motivated that while you are taking out student loans, that you know what, man, I'm gonna put $100 back into, my student loan payment because I want to start attacking that debt now, so I'm in a better position when I graduated. Get motivated that by 2054, I'm not going to be a part of that stat because I'm going to make the right decisions today to make sure that I'm not a part of that stat in 2024. Because here's the truth. We've got what it takes to narrow that gap and to position ourselves to build not just wealth today, but wealth that passed down to generations. Yo, it's your boy A.O. I gotta go. I love you. And I'm gonna see you in the next show. Yo, share this with one of our brothers and sisters. All right? God bless you.